Planning in grad school is very essential. It's very easy to watch months, years go by where you look up and you're kind of like, wow, what did I really accomplish? I think I actually started to accomplish things when I started to make a plan and make milestones for myself.
Some of the most successful people in my lab are not necessarily the ones who've worked day and night, but rather the ones who are organized.
In 2005, the professional society Sigma Xi surveyed postdocs across the country. The purpose of the survey was to identify factors that contributed to having higher satisfaction with the postdoctoral experience. An interesting thing that came out of the study was that having a structured plan and discussing it with your mentor was one of the factors that had a high correlation with postdocs publishing more papers and reporting higher satisfaction with their postdoctoral experience.
Research is very different from the undergraduate training because you're no longer the consumer. You don't consume education, but you're a creator. It is really up to you what you do with that time. It's up to you what project you define, and you're the driver of that project.
What planning really is at the heart is simply being reflective and thinking about what you want to accomplish in the future, and thinking about what types of actions you need to take to get there and what goals you need to set.
In my opinion, planning is very essential in a scientific career. And that particularly is true for the PhD position, the postdoc position, and everything else that follows. And the main reason is, even starting in the PhD, that during your undergraduate training, you had classes. The classes last a semester, you have exams, you're constantly being checked on your progress, and you actually have no choice but to run along with everyone else in that course curriculum. Now in graduate school, which usually lasts about 5 years, that's a very long time. And so if you don't have a plan going into that or a plan while you're in it, chances that you're not going to use that time well are very high.
Interestingly, I was once talking with a faculty member, and she told me that one of the hardest things about transitioning from the academic setting into a company setting was that suddenly she was asked to put her research projects on a timeline. And in her mind, she'd never done that in academia. We just follow the research questions and see where they take us. And so thinking ahead, it's good to develop skills to be able to set up your own plan on a timeline and stick with that timeline as best you can, or to learn how to navigate around the plan as you need to change it.
Project plans are aspirational. No one ever actually executes the plan as written. I've never seen it happen. Pieces of it happen, but they're an important straw man to help you sort of organize your time and get going.
Sometimes you plan an experiment, your cells aren't ready, so you have to push it back a day. If you didn't have that plan, you could keep pushing stuff back every single day, and that just causes months and time to go by. I think just having that plan of knowing what needs to get done really helps you to stay focused. But like I said, you can't always plan things. Sometimes your mice don't want to cooperate. Sometimes they don't want to mate when you want them to mate, and you don't get pups when you need to get the pups. But as long as you know, like, this is an experiment that needs to get done, I have it on the list. I planned it out already. As soon as those pups or your cells are ready to go, you can do your experiment so you know what you need to do. By not planning, you're planning to fail.
Even though project plans change over time, it's important to have a framework so that you can talk to other people about your plan. It gives them a way to give you input in a structured way.
If you have a plan and you say, like, okay, we're really interested in like getting this type of data by this point, and you realize like that is not going to happen, it is much easier to come to your PI with a very targeted thing to talk about and say, like, this was in the plan, this is why it doesn't seem to be working out, and then come up with a solution to go forward.
It also helps you to evaluate your own progress and sort of how things are going along, and to always make decisions in terms of how things are fitting into the overall story that you're building with your work, right? So that you may be pursuing a new lead, but by having a plan in place, you understand how close that is to the central premise of your overall plan.